business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day. And we're going to talk today how technology can serve you. It's not talked about enough, but it can. It's served me over the last 40 years, and it can serve you as well. My guest today is going to light you up with so much knowledge. He's going to motivate you. He's going to challenge you. And more important, you're going to walk away with tools, especially in AI and technology, that will inspire action both in your life and in the lives of others so you can make that impact. And speaking of impact, here's your homework today, audience. Before we dive in, I want you to think about how you're going to serve yourself and serve others today. Today's the key word. And it doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game for anybody. So lean in, take notes. Let's discover how servant leadership in business can create ripple effects that last far beyond the bottom line. Quick shout out to Epic Impact, the only universal, emotionally resonate messaging framework that works anywhere for any audience. This 4-step system transforms how I pitch, post, podcast. I engage, I persuade, I inspire, I close. I use it daily and it works great. Grab your free trial today at epicimpact.ai with the promo code Steve to start inspiring action today. And shout out to all of you audience and guests. We hit top 6 in small business marketing in the whole world in podcasting. It wasn't because of you. I would never have got there, but also too, we get to make an impact. Let's start making another impact today. With that being said, let's bring Arun onto the show. Arun, welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.
Your company name is very interesting to me. Tipsora. What's the background on that?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to create a technology company built around innovation, right? And it's innovation and education, right? So I wanted to have the word innovation in there somewhere. So I tried like innovate system, like innovate something, a lot of things, and I was working with a lawyer, and he suggested that your name, first of all, it has to be unique. I wanted something that my company name .com is available. At the same time, it cannot be something that even remotely sounds similar to another company that's already registered, because then, they can get you for trademarks. I'm like, okay, now that narrows down the criteria that I need a company where the trademark is available, the domain name .com is available, and it kind of resonates the idea of innovation and education. So, okay, so what's another word for education? Like, it's tips, right? So I came up with the punchline that it's tips for business and life, right? So it's a company, Tipsora is a repository of tips that you could use to improve your business and improve your life. So, that's how the word Tipsora came about.
Well, check the marketing box, because when I first saw that, that's the first thing I thought of. Oh, he's giving tips on technology. So you scored it. And not that I might be only thinking that. I doubt it, because a lot of people think that way. So it's very cool. And see, audience, this is what happens when you become an entrepreneur. There are all these little things we work with, which is great, but we got to make sure we do it right. Let's jump into fractional. I've told you I work with a lot of fractionals. I love fractional because there's so many companies out there can't afford a full-time CTO, CEO, CFO, whoever it may be. Talk about and give the detail what fractional CTO service means.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned it the right way. So I work with a lot of like startups, small business, even some of the mid-sized businesses who primarily kind of rely on a vendor a company to manage their technology. So I you do a lot of conference speaking, and I still do. And after the conferences, people reach out to me and like, I like what you're talking about. Can you help us implement this? So then I talk to them about, how do you usually do it, right? So it's kind of like they say, okay, whoever is the vendor, we usually ask them, and we work with some kind of consulting firm to do this. And what happens is like multiple vendors come in and they kind of pitch their own thing and they get out, right? But there is no one who is kind of looking at the overall strategy of what would work. Different people give you different solution, but they are not in line with an integrated solution that you can use to kind of keep up with where you want your business to go. So there was no strategic direction, and I said, why don't you have a CTO? Like, well, if you need a good CTO, it's expensive, right? So then, around that time, I heard this fractional things picking up, but there was still no fractional CTO, like I think fractional CMO and CFO was the first thing that got started. But then I got hold of a group that were working on this idea of fractional CTO. And, that just spoke to me that I wanted to do something in consulting. Then I thought, okay, fractional CTO can be the best form of consulting offering. And that's how kind of tailored my entire consulting offering around my fractional CTO offering.
And you said something earlier about expensive. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. I mean, if you hired me for a full-time CTO, I'm not going to say numbers, but it's going to be six figures.
Yeah.
When they come in and hire you for 6 months to solve some of their technology problems, and then you exit, right? You're not there full time, first of all,
Yeah.
but you don't plan to be there many years, right?
Yeah, yeah, and with the fractional model, it's kind of like you're getting the work of a full-time CTO without the budget. Because if you look at like what is the work of a CTO, the CTO is supposed to kind of create a blueprint of what the business is, what type of technology should map to the business goal, and how should your technology kind of advance with as your business is changing, right? So they're supposed to create that roadmap and create that map of which business functions should use which technology, right? Once that map is created, there is really not much work for the CTO. It's really the people who are like in charge of each individual system. They are the ones who are operating it on a daily basis, right? So with a fractional CTO model, like I typically say, to see a result, like I need at least a 3 month retainer, because 3 months is minimum. And 90 days is minimum what it takes for me to understand your business, create that technology blueprint, and create a roadmap, and kind of put it in a way that your people now understand that this is the tech stack we have, and this is the plan, and they can then operate it, right? And at that point, like I might exit after 3 months, but even though I exit, which means they don't have to pay me that monthly retainer, right? But even then, I'm not completely out. I'm still there, so they can have like a check-in with me, once a month, once every 2, 3 months, or whenever they feel like they need it. And I still have their blueprint that I created, and I still know their business, so I can come in. I don't need to be there full time anymore, right? Or even at a fractional capacity where I'm doing maybe 1 day a week, 2 day a week, whatever it is that we originally agreed on. I don't need to be there, do that like weekly basis. I can just come in once a month and just kind of do an audit. This was the vision. Are things going according to plan or not? Is something out of the plan? If it is, how can we bring it back to the plan? And I just have a checkpoint to make sure things are aligned, right? So that becomes a lot more affordable, and it still does what a dedicated CTO would do.
Yeah, and I love this so much because to pay you 3 to 6 months, let's say you have to go longer. 3 to 6 months is a lot cheaper than 3 to 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheaper is the wrong word, a lot less expensive.
Yeah, and the best part is, 3 years, 6 years, whatever it is, after that, I'm not really gone. I am
Yeah.
still there to come back and audit and, change things on an as needed basis.
What I'm going to give you a great tagline, audience. This is what he is. Have Arun in your back pocket. That's what it is. They call, hey, Arun, we got a question. This is doing this. That's powerful because a lot of people in business and services, not a lot, people will walk away, go, hey, I did it. If you want me to come back, it's going to do this. You offering, that's a servant's heart. I could see why you're on the show. Let's talk about this. Technology for most people, I'd say 90%, this is my thought. They buy it and they go, how the hell do I use this technology? How often does that happen? And how do you help that?
Yeah, I mean, it happens quite a lot. I recently had a client who, like AI is a big buzzword. So they said, we need to do something in AI, and they hired a vendor to implement an AI. And, they gave them something, they sold them on the promise, and they built something, and then they got out, right? After that, there is no one in the company who really understand how that thing works.
Yeah,
Right? And then, I came in and I'm like, okay, why did you do it this way? Did you think about this? They are using a completely different platform. It doesn't really integrate with your existing platform. Why would you have two separate platforms? How do you plan on getting them synced? So it was pretty much like I had to kind of redo everything they did in a way that integrates with their business. So that's a classic example is that, people, if you talk to technology vendors, they kind of sell you on the promise, right? And a lot of people buy into the hype, not knowing the long-term implication of it, right? If you have someone who understands technology and also is invested in your strategic vision of where your business is and where it needs to go, that person can integrate that technology in a way that just flows with your business.
I love the invested word, because that's powerful. I mean, how many people have apps on their phone? I know I do, and other that we just bought and we use it once or twice, and it just sits there. Yeah, it's only $4.99, but you do that across 1 million people. That's $5 million the company made. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to get in that because but that's kind of what I'm hearing when we're
yeah.
talking about that. What was the end result of this company that you came in and fixed all this? What happened?
Yeah, so there was, they had some, AI transcription type of thing. So the goal was to kind of use AI to transcribe all the audios and extract the, right input and populate CRM, right? So, and they were all on Microsoft Stack, right? So this vendor was using other cloud and other databases. So I'm like, okay, let's just use the database that we have, use the existing platform that we have, and I just kind of rebuilt it in a way that just integrates with their platform, right? Using the service that they have without having to get another cloud service. And the result was like, there are almost like tenfold, one-tenth of the cost in terms of the actual transcription cost. There were still some challenges around extracting the right thing, getting the transcription in the right format to update to CRM. That's where kind of like some creative development work that was needed. But yeah, it's a matter of like business automation to be able to do things like, you're on the phone talking to someone, there is nobody taking notes or anything. So you have recorded it, then you have to listen to it and then do stuff manually. And it takes a long time and you might miss a lot of things, right? When you AI enable that, first of all, you're doing things faster and cheaper. On top of that, you are capturing everything in real time. And so you're not missing anything.
Automation is a grand slam. That's the great word, because you just said it saves you time and money. That's the biggest expense for companies is money and time. And I love that you said that. Here's the other challenge with technology. People listening, I'd love to get your answer for is it changes so fast. We went from the push button, the circular phone to the push button phone. It was a long duration. We can learn it. Well, AI is coming with so much stuff, and you just mentioned how you stay current. How do you help companies stay current with the emerging technologies?
Yeah, I mean, it's, first of all, like, why stay current, right? Uh, you don't want to just get a new stuff just because it's new, right? So my thing always is that everything needs to make business sense, right? One of the primary criteria for new, like the new technology today is cloud and AI, right? A lot of the like mid-sized businesses who kind of started around 90s, the challenge I see that is that there is a common pattern that they are using the database, which are older versions, which are kind of now probably out of support, right? And of course, back then AI wasn't that advanced, right? Nowadays, if you want to AI enable your application, like the modern databases, they come with being able to store vector indexes and being able to implement those RAG pattern to implement AI, right? So the challenge is that if you had a business a long time ago and you have survived because you have loyal customer, but if you don't upgrade your business to take advantage of the best of cloud and AI today, there are born in the cloud companies today coming up as startups. They can grow much faster, right? You look at what's happening in fintech. There are banks which are just starting online. What they do is they provide banking with like accounting services and financial management services, and they don't even own the banking part of it. They outsource the banking. They just provide the technology interface, and those banks are giving the actual banks in a tough competition because they are giving people more return on whatever money they are putting. So people are like, I get 3% here, I'm getting 4% here, so why not switch the bank, right? So that's a real example that we have in front of us today, that if you don't upgrade, if you don't use the latest innovation, somebody who is starting today with the latest technology can outdo you in a matter of a year.
You're running a race and you're behind.
Yeah.
They're ahead of you and you're always chasing them. That's a great answer. Man, you're smart. Holy moly. You're super smart. Well, here's a great question. I'm going to really test your smartness here. Why does a company need a CTO?
Yeah, so exactly the same reason, right? You have a business. Uh, in order to make the business run efficiently and have competitive advantage, you need to be able to use technology to kind of improve operational efficiency and be able to deliver more services in less time in a better way, right? And that all involves using technology, and it's the CTO who is the leader of forming the technology strategy for the company to make sure that the technology is serving the business goal, right? And the CTO is in the C-suite, so they are invested. Invested is the keyword again. They are invested in the company because just like the CEO, they also get stocks, and so they are very heavily invested. They don't just get salary; they really care about the company's growth. So you need someone who understands technology, who is aligned with the CEO to understand the business goal, and is able to integrate technology into the business strategy.
Yeah, I love that because I've talked to some companies over the last 6 months. They don't even have a website. I'm like, you have to have a website. Well, and technology, like people, I don't really want technology. I'm older, like I'm 64. I love technology, but you have to have it. How much level? That's where you come in and go, hey guys, here's what you need, what you don't need, which I love because you can save them money.
Right.
Don't spend 100,000 for this, but I got this for 30,000. This will do it, and here's how. That's why I love what this guy's doing. Arun is a rock star. Coming to the end, this question I've always asked, and I always like to know, what are you excited about in future technologies coming up in the next 2 to 3 years? What's one or two things?
Yeah, so AI is the big thing that has happened. Like AI has been around, but like after ChatGPT, AI was ready for consumerization, right? And the next big evolution in AI is heading towards AGI, where like the OpenAI O1 was the first one to have that reasoning model, right? Now the AI is able to reason against what you are asking and how to do things. That plus the agent, right? The multi-agent orchestration. That's kind of changing the way we think about application. we are heading to an era where we are going to have, every application is just going to look like one interface where it's just you speak to it, you type to it, and that's all. It just does everything. Today's, if you look at the enterprise application, it's so complex. There is so many things packed into one screen. There are so many buttons, so many controls. AI is simplifying that, and it's simplifying that not only from the user perspective, it's also simplifying it from an integration perspective. Because think about it, if you have a very complex UI, to make change to like one drop down, you need to go change the database, change the API. The whole series needs to be changed, right? Whereas with AI, the interface is simple. It's just one speaker button or one text box, so that doesn't change. If you have a new data, you simply update the data, the RAG indexes get updated, and your same chatbot is now ready to answer question on the new data. So it changes how fast you can do changes to your application to kind of add more feature, being able to answer more question, being able to do more things. You have agents, it's doing one thing, you want to enable it to do another thing, you just add one more agent. It doesn't require changing across the layers of things that your applications are built in. So
So
that's why.
brilliant, Arun. That is brilliant. Gary Vee says AI is only going to give us more time to do more things. And that's what you're saying. I love AI agents. The power of what they're going to do is, and they're not taking jobs away. Jobs are just going to look different. They're not,
Yeah.
we're not going to go from 10 million jobs to 1,000 jobs. We'll probably
Yeah, yeah,
increase jobs. They're just
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
faster. Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, this is something that has happened over the history, right? When the machines came out and people started having, industrialization, right? People said, oh, machines are going to take our job, right? But
Yeah.
that actually improved life, right? Then, when computers came out, people are like, okay, we are not going to have papers anymore. So all those jobs are going to go away. But actually, it created new jobs. Like we have SEO strategists, we have social
Yeah.
media strategists, right? Just like that. Now
Yeah.
there is AI. So now you need AI strategists. There is something called answer engine optimization now, because
Yep.
you need to optimize what you're putting out online to be able to use effectively by these chatbots, right? So it's just the jobs are going to transform and new types of jobs are going to be created.
That's brilliant. So brilliant. You're a rock star, man. He gets it. We'll get his information out here in a second. But I ask a fun question here at the end. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant for you, Arun. You're going to
Okay.
sit in one of the chairs. You've got 3 empty chairs at the table. Who are you going to invite, whether they're dead or alive, to talk, converse, somebody you wanted to get to know, and what food would you order for the table?
Well, I have a long history with Microsoft, and Bill Gates is still there. So
Yep.
I would probably want to, invite Bill Gates and talk to him about, what his vision is. And, also the Google CEO is from the same chain of school as where I am from in India. So I kind of relate to
Oh,
him. I would
Sergey
like
Page,
to.
right? You're talking about Sergey Page?
No, no, Sundar Pichai.
Subacha. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I would like to invite him as well. And I would like to invite Barack Obama, because he was one of the most inspirational leaders we have had. And I would like to invite him and get, the political perspective of, like, what technology is doing and how the political landscape and how government regulations can help. And I like Italian, I like seafood. So
Italian
that's my.
seafood.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. All right, we got to tell you, I have to bring another chair. I say it all the time. I love Italian, so I join you. Arun, you've been a blessing. I really appreciate you taking time talking to the audience and me, sharing so many great nuggets and golden nuggets. I know people listening are like, hey, I need a CTO. I need to talk to a CTO. How can they reach out to you and connect with you?
Yeah, so if you can spell my name, just copy it from this show or by LinkedIn. I'm very easy to find because my name happens to be unique in the world. There is just no one else by the name of Arunansu Pattanayak. So if you look for me, you are going to find me. My website is my full name, arunansupatnayak.com. My email is arun@arunansupatnayak.com. So I'm very easy to find. Just look me up.
We'll put the links in the chat because it is a longer name. But yeah, if you don't reach out to me, audience, if you need help, I'll get you connected with them or go to the show notes. Thanks again, Arun. I really appreciate it. And audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Here's why. You get this link sent to you when you subscribe. I've subscribed to about 20 podcasts. And if it resonates with you to a friend or a family member that needs help with technology, I got the answer right here. Listen, have them listen to the podcast and go, then they can connect to Arun, go to his website, and maybe he can help them as well. That's a gift. And that's an impact we want to make every day we can. With that being said, me and Arun want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.